You know that feeling when your truck hits 80,000 miles and you start listening for every little tick? Cold start rattle, random misfire at idle, that faint sewing machine chatter that wasn't there at 40K. You tell yourself, it's a GM V8, they run forever. Your buddy says, they all sound like that. The service advisor says, just drive it. Then one morning the check engine light shows up with a misfire. The truck feels flat, and the estimate on the counter has a 4 at the front of it. Sometimes a 7. That is what we're talking about tonight. Because GM's V8 reliability problem didn't just happen overnight. It's the result of a decade of decisions. AFM, DFM, thin oil, long intervals, and bean-counted internals layered on top of an engine family that used to be known for going 300K. And as these trucks age into the 100,000 to 150,000 mile pocket, the bill for those decisions is finally due. The title says crisis for a reason. Not because every GM V8 is doomed, but because the odds and the costs at 100,000 miles look very different than the brochure promised. Tonight we're going to walk through 3 things: what's actually failing in modern GM V8s and why it happens, the real 100,000 mile cost when you add fuel, maintenance, and one big hit, a simple owner's playbook so you either avoid the landmines or buy with your eyes open. By the end, you'll know if you're sitting on a time bomb, a workhorse, or just one bad decision away from a $5,000 phone call. The villain. Set it and forget it engineering. Let's put the villain on the table. It's not GM is garbage now or all their engines are junk. The villain is set it and forget it thinking. For years, the sales pitch has been fuel-saving technology, cylinder deactivation, advanced oil life monitors, low-friction internals for better MPG. Translated into owner language, that sounds like change the oil when the dash tells you, don't worry about what it's doing and enjoy the gas savings. That's the lie. Because under the hood, GM stacked AFM/DFM lifters that constantly switch on and off. Ultra-thin oil that hates heat and neglect. Low-tension rings that want perfect conditions to stay happy. And long oil intervals that look great in a brochure, not so great in the pan at 90K. You can get away with that cocktail under light duty. Start towing, idling, short tripping, or ignoring oil, and the weak links start to show. Let's talk about what actually goes wrong. What's really breaking in GM's modern V8s? We'll keep this simple and focus on the big 3 AFM/DFM lifter failures: oil consumption and stuck rings, timing and top-end wear from cooked oil. 1. AFM/DFM lifter failures: active fuel management, AFM, and its newer cousin dynamic fuel management, DFM, let the engine shut off cylinders under light load. On paper, better miles per gallon, less fuel burned. In the real world, a lifter with moving internals that's asked to lock/unlock thousands of times over its life. When things are perfect, oil quality is good, pressure is right, heat is managed, the lifters happily switch modes. When things aren't perfect, dirty or broken down oil, extended intervals, lots of heat cycles, towing, idling, you get lifters that stick, rollers that pit or wear, a cam lobe that gets eaten as the lifter stops rolling and starts skating. From the driver's seat, that looks like cold start ticking, random misfire codes, rough idle, power loss. And from the service counter, it looks like you need cam and lifters. We recommend doing all the lifters, not just the bad one. While we're in there, we should do the guides, trays, gaskets. In dollars, that's often $3,000 to $5,000, depending on where you live and what all they find in there. 2. Oil consumption and stuck rings. To chase fuel economy, GM went with low-tension rings and strategies that keep RPM and friction low. Again, great on paper. But those rings live or die by oil quality, heat management, how much babying versus hard running they see. Over time, with long intervals and thin oil, the rings and ringlands get hot and carbon up. Oil control gets worse. The engine starts burning oil quietly between services. You may not see blue smoke. You just start needing to top off between changes. Ignore that, and you run the engine low, which cooks everything else even faster. You can absolutely have a GM V8 that never does this. But enough of them do that oil consumption and AFM lifters are now phrases you see in used truck listings. 3. Timing and top-end wear. Now tie it all together. AFM lifters stressing the cam, rings and bores seeing hotter, dirtier conditions. long oil intervals turning the pan into a chemistry project. The timing set, VVT components, and top end don't live in a vacuum. Bad oil and heat take their pound of flesh. By the time you're around 100,000 to 150,000 miles, you have 3 possible stories. The unicorn, loved, maintained, occasionally worked hard, keeps trucking. The May, mixed maintenance, light duty, starts to tick, use oil, feel tired. The casualty, long intervals, towing, idling, never checked levels, lifter/cam or full engine on the horizon. And that's where the real 100,000-mile cost shows up. The 100,000-mile cost, what the crisis looks like on paper. Let's put numbers on this with 2 fictional owners. Both bought a half-ton GM truck with a modern V8 and AFM/DFM. Both drive 15,000 miles a year. Gas is $3.75 a gallon. Owner A, the optimist. This is the guy who follows the oil life monitor to 8 to 10,000 intervals, rarely checks oil between changes, tows a decent camper or boat on weekends in the summer, idles a lot in traffic or job sites. Fuel over 100,000 miles at, say, 16 miles per gallon combined. 100,000 divided by 16 is approximately 6,250 gallons. $6,250 times $3.75 is approximately $23,400 in fuel. Oil changes every 9,000 on average, about 11 services. Call it $80 a pop at Quick Lube, approximately $880. Now the big one. At 110,000, he starts getting rough idle, misfire codes on one bank, top-end ticking, diagnosis, failed AFM lifters, and a wiped cam lobe. Estimate a comm and lifter job, gaskets, fluids, odds and ends. Labor on a modern aluminum V8 crammed in a half-ton bay. Realistic hit, $3,500 to $5,000. If the damage is bad or metal went everywhere, some shops don't even want to do the surgery. They'll quote a crate or Riemann engine in the $7,000 to $9,000 installed range. Let's be kind and say owner A gets out for $4,000. Total engine-related cost over 100 to 120,000 miles. Fuel, approximately $23,400. Oil service, approximately $880. Major repair, approximately $4,000. Rough total, $28,000 plus. And that's not counting lost time, rental, or the resale hit of cam and lifters done in the ad. Owner B, the paranoid. Same truck, same miles, but this guy changes oil every 5,000 with good synthetic, checks level regularly, tops off if needed, uses AFM/DFM, friendly driving, or deletes it where legal/appropriate, keeps the cooling stack clean, and doesn't lug the engine for fake MPG. Fuel is the same, $23,400 over 100,000 at our 16 miles per gallon assumption. Oil changes every 5K, about 20 services. 20 times $80 equals $1,600. He spends approximately $700 more on oil over that span than owner A. But here's the difference. His engine makes it through 100 to 120,000 without wiping a cam or collapsing a lifter. He might have some oil usage he watches, normal wear and tear issues, but no $4,000 top-end surgery. Total for owner B, fuel, approximately $23,400. Oil, approximately $1,600. Big engine repair, $0 in that window. Rough total, $25,000. Owner B over-maintained his way out of a crisis and saved about $3,000 compared to owner A, plus a truck that feels healthier and sells easier when he lists it. That's the real 100,000-mile cost hiding inside GM's reliability problem. If you treat these engines like the old LS, you're owner A. If you treat them like the complex, sensitive systems they really are, you have a shot at being owner B. Quick pause here. If you want more of this kind of math instead of "they all do that" from the service counter, hit subscribe so the next time a lifter sticks, you at least saw it coming. All right, let's talk about what you can actually do. The GM-V8 Survival Playbook. Whether you already own one or you're shopping used, here's how you stop this crisis from landing in your driveway. 1. Shorten the oil interval. No, seriously. Ignore the 10,000 comfort blanket. If you tow, idle a lot, live in heat, or just want this thing at 200,000, think 5,000 miles or once a year, whichever comes first. Use the right spec oil and quality filters. These engines are not the place to get cute with bargain bin fluids. 2. Watch oil level. Like it's a gauge, not a guess. Check the stick. If it's half a quart down between changes, normal-ish for some of these, a quarter more down in 2,000 to 3,000 miles, that's a pattern you need to track. Top off. Don't let it run low. Low oil turns a manageable consumption issue into a full-blown failure faster than any bad design ever made the news. 3. Deal with AFM/DFM intentionally. You've basically got 3 paths. Leave it stock and over-maintain. Owner B playbook. Use a range-style device or tune where legal to keep it out of AFM/DFM modes. Or pretend it's not there and roll the dice. Every time those lifters switch, that's where. If you can reduce the number of cycles without breaking laws or warranties, do it. If you can't, then clean oil and heat management are your only shields. 4. Keep the cooling stack clean. Pop the hood. Look between AC condenser, intercoolers, if equipped, radiator, transcooler. If the fins are packed with bugs, dust, and dirt, clean them from the backside carefully. More heat equals thinner oil under stress equals more wear on lifters, cam, rings, and timing. 5. If you're buying used, read the story. Looking at a 100,000-mile GM truck or SUV with a V8? Ask, do you have service records or at least a pattern of regular oil changes? Has it had cam and lifter work already? If so, who did it and what parts did they use? How much oil does it use between changes? Red flags, just did the one bad lifter. No idea on oil changes, the light just went out when it needed it. It uses oil, but they all do that, with no actual numbers. Green flags, 5K changes, synthetic since new. AFM/DFM disabled with a proper tune where allowed. Cam and lifters done with quality parts, paperwork in hand. You're not just buying a truck, you're buying a chapter of someone else's maintenance decisions. The verdict, is GM's V8 reliability doomed? Number. There are GM V8s out there that will happily do 200K plus with nothing more than maintenance and a few gaskets. But the days of change the oil whenever, it's an LS, it'll take it, are over. The crisis is this: GM stacked complexity, fuel-saving tricks, thin oil, and long intervals on top of their V8s. And then told owners, just trust the light and enjoy the miles per gallon. At 100,000 miles, a lot of those promises are being cashed out as AFM/DFM lifter failures, cam wear, oil consumption, and $3,000 to $5,000 repair bills that feel like they came out of nowhere. If you're shopping, you need to factor that into the price. If you're owning, you need to factor it into your maintenance. GM's V8s aren't junk, they're just no longer idiot-proof. If you want more breakdowns like this, mechanics, math, and real-world costs instead of marketing fluff, hit like, hit subscribe, and drop your experience with GM V8s in the comments. Year, engine, miles, and what it's cost you so far. Because the more real data we have, the easier it gets to see where these engines really stand, and who's about to learn the hard way what their 100,000-mile cost actually is.